Okay, welcome back from online coffee break. Before we go to the next presentation, I would like to thank our sponsor for the first session, Eastwest. We are going to play the sponsor video for 15 minutes. Oh, sorry, 15 seconds, not 15 minutes. Thank you. Thank you very much, Eastwest for a great sponsorship for this year, though we don't have a physical meeting. Thank you very much for your support. So next, I would like to invite back my co-leader to share the next presentation. Thank you very much.
Thanks, May, and thank you to our sponsor, East West, as well for that. Helps to break up the monotony as well. So that's good to have that as we come back from coffee. But now I'd like to go to our next speaker, Mr. Shaba Gaspar, who's the Seed Schemes Program Manager at the OECD. He's been there, I think, in his capacities, ensures the coordination of the implementation of the OECD's international seed varietal certification systems in the 61 participating countries of the seed schemes now, which is great. He has 18 years of experience in standardization and certification of agricultural products, such as seeds, fruit and vegetables, and forest reproductive materials, which is great. And so he's going to talk to us today about how to assess the impact of COVID-19 on the seed sector, what impacts that have had, and some potential solutions that he's been developing there, the OECD, to make sure that in the future that international trade can continue. So but welcome. Thank you very much for getting up early and making yourself available for us today. Please, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mike, for the introduction, and welcome everybody. And first of all, I would like to thank APSA to give us this opportunity to present our work in this workshop. So as I was mentioned, I'm Csaba Gaspar, the program manager of the OECD seed schemes. And I would like to tell you a very small introduction on the OECD seed scheme. So we are a more than 60-year-old program established within the OECD. And at the moment, we have 61 member countries, and we are open to all UN and WTO member countries. And you can see on the map our membership at the moment. Just an information, we are covering about 1/3 of the international trade of agricultural seed. We are dealing with 202 species and more than 62,000 varieties registered under the OECD for international trade. So today I would like to introduce our work on related to COVID-19 pandemic. The OECD is heavily involved in to give advice to our members, policy advices, how to deal with COVID-19 in various area of policies, and one is including the seed sector. And of course, the OECD seed scheme was involved in this survey. We published this information on the OECD website, and I can share you, and in my presentation you will see the link to that entire report. Our brief give information to the governments, but we also had some information from the seed sector. We saw that the major problem was the personnel were not available for production, certification, and transport. And that was one of the key problems. And the second problem was the availability and cost of transport due to the reduced number of international flights. And that was mostly valid for the vegetable seeds and more high-valued seed, which were transported mainly by air flights. Also, some problem was caused by that markets were closed. So it's particularly ornamental plants and seed were heavily affected by this fact. And also we saw that sometimes we could face problems which we never thought that it will happen. But we saw, for example, I wrote you an example here that PCR laboratory test. So the seed laboratories were competing with COVID-19 PCR laboratories, and sometimes the chemicals or the machines, they were not available for seed testing. So you can see that a lot of unexpected things happened in the last months since the COVID-19 pandemic. But we can say that all in all, the seed sector was quite resilient for this problem. We also gave some recommendations to the policymakers and authorities. And the first one and the most important one, that we have to keep the borders open. So we have to classify the agriculture sector as essential to give the opportunity to seed companies to trade with the seeds. Also, we suggest to our governments not to change the regulatory frameworks related to international trade of seed or phytosanitary measures, because the other authorities in other countries, they are under pressure, and it's very difficult to adapt to new regulatory frameworks and requirements. And that would cause technical barriers to trade. So this has to be avoided. In our certification system, the national designated authorities maintain the quality of the seed, and this is a very important decision of our schemes, that's the priority. But to maintain that quality, we need to use our rules and regulation flexibly. So it means that some of the not important or less important parts of the certification, which can be postponed to a later stage, for example, checking third-party inspectors or registration of new varieties, they were delayed. But the ongoing seed production has to be certified, and this is how we could serve the seed industry. And the last one is the communication, the importance of the communication, collaboration, and harmonization of measures between the governments is a very important element of our policy advices, because without that, it could be very easily a chaos on the markets. You can see the link to this report, the full report. So I can also share with you in the chat book, the chat, if you wish, if you want to see the full information. I would like to also talk about the next steps, because the pandemic is still here, and of course we did not continue our work. So we continuously monitor the situation in our participating countries to survey our governments. Also, we are planning to develop an OECD guideline for emergency situations. So if it happens again, some situation like we are living now, government should be better prepared for that. And also, I would like to give you some information on an ongoing activity, which is the analysis of the impact of the COVID-19 on international seed supply chains, including an in-depth case study on the Asian seed market. And I will just tell you about that in a couple of minutes. And also our work on digitalization of the OECD seed schemes. So if I go back to this study on the impact of COVID-19 on international seed supply chain, this is a very important project for us now, and is financed by the OECD and the Japanese government. And is also related to the OECD activity on actually in a broader context. We are dealing with food systems, and seed is one of the key input to the food systems. And this is very important to ensure that our seed supply chains are very resilient to any crises. We do this job together in cooperation with the International Seed Federation, and our key partner is the APSA. And I would like to thank to the Secretariat that they were very open to work together with the OECD and really appreciate this cooperation. So the goal of this work is to analyze the resilience of the international seed supply chain. And to do that, we do a case study on the Asian vegetable seed market. We would like to identify the strengths and weaknesses during the COVID-19 crisis, evaluate the short and long-term plans of seed stakeholders, including public and private stakeholders, and explore opportunities to make the seed supply chain more resilient. We are planning to finalize this work at the beginning of 2021, and we will also publish this report and it will be available. And once it is done, I will inform the Secretariat, and so you will have an access to the full report. Just to give you a preliminary outcomes. So the seed sector, what we see now, show the reasonable resilience to the crisis. And that was thanks to mainly that many of the seed companies, they already had risk management plans, like diversification of the production to different countries, different sites. That's related to the nature of seed production because it's a risky business. All the weather problems can happen all the time. So companies were quite prepared for this kind of situations. The main concern remained the availability of human resources and transportation. And we also see differences between countries. Those who had well-established seed sector and the transparent regulatory framework, they were more resilient to the crisis than those who did not have that. So that's an important sign for the future that how the well-established seed sector can help countries to maintain seed business and ensure the food security to the countries. What we see that the companies, they concentrated their resources to the ongoing seed production, but that meant that some resources were moved from a long-term strategic project to this to ensure the ongoing seed production. And we will see the effects of this in the future. So this is what we will see very soon on like development of new varieties, for example. Also, we would like to highlight the importance of the functioning and predictable trading system and open markets, which would make the system more resilient as well. International cooperation among government and private sectors and international organizations are also highlighted or will be highlighted in our report, as well as the importance of the innovation, research and development policies, that those has to be strengthened or reviewed because of the new situation. So that will be our report. And just on my last slide, I would like to give you just very briefly our ongoing work on digitalization of the OECD seed scheme, as the COVID-19 crisis highlighted the need for the digitalization to improve the resilience of the agricultural supply chains. So we are running a feasibility study at the moment, and next year I hope we can start to build up our digital system. And the potential benefits which we see from this system is to increase the traceability and transparency along the seed production chain. We try to start with the digital labels and certificates like smart tags. So that would give more information to the farmers, but also to seed companies to track their seeds better. It would allow to governments more efficient control and exchange and validation of information. And of course, that would be a very nice tool for combating fraud and illegal practices, which is very important at the moment in the seed sector. We could also use this digital system to develop a real-time OECD seed database. And actually that is came from the Japanese government, a request that it would be nice to have more information on ongoing seed production So that would help the governments to plan their policies and ensure seed security and food security in their countries. So that was my presentation, and you can see my email address on the screen, and also the general public website of the OECD seed scheme, where you can find many other information on our programs. So thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Ella, for that interesting presentation. It looks like you've been doing a lot of work in this space. I will open the floor up for questions. We already have one actually that's come into the Q&A box, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
You did mention the Asian vegetable seed market and that particular Asia study. Is there any particular reason you chose that particular market?
Yes, actually, the choice is because we are partnering with the Japanese government, and they were concerned about vegetable seed markets, the Asian market, and that's why we chose this part of the global seed sector to run a case study on that, to satisfy the need of the Japanese government. But we can also model the complexity of the seed system on this Asian vegetable seed market. So that was the reason.
I think they were interested when they heard that. I think we have a lot of the vegetable seed companies here on the listening in, so I'm sure that piqued their interest on that. So thank you. So I mean, when you talk about looking at seed scheme countries, are you only looking at seed scheme countries in the region, or all countries really, or really just focusing on?
No, I mean, we look all the countries because our partner is the APSA. Yeah. And they allowed us to ask questions when they circulated their survey on that topic. So we can have access to that information collected by APSA, and this is what we will analyze further with ISF and within the Secretariat. So again, I would like to really thank to May and the Secretariat to give us this opportunity. It's very helpful.
Thank you. There aren't any other questions in here. May, do you want to have any comments on that for people on the call?
Yes, definitely. Thank you very much, Michael, and thanks, Shaba. Yeah, so actually we have been working together to add more questions actually in the third round. And once we did collect the information from our members already, and that's the report and the result that we share to Shaba. And we actually, as regional associations, so feeling like we can help, to bring the results in the next level, and to be concerned by OECD is very great opportunity. I would like to thank our members also who participate in all the survey questions relating to the COVID-19. I think we received another question. Michael, can we have one more question?
We definitely can. It hasn't come up in my chat box yet, so you might have to ask the question, May.
Thank you. Yes, it's not in, I think it's in the chat, but anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So the question is, can non-OECD countries access the information and capacity building programs of OECD? Shaba, please.
Yes, of course. First of all, as I mentioned, we are open to all UN member countries and WTO member countries. So we have broader membership than the OECD itself. We have our public website where you can find all of the guidelines, rules, and regulations. So it's freely available to everyone. And on capacity building programs, we have that. And if we receive a request, and mainly the request should come from the government, not from private companies, but if you want to have a capacity building, you should talk with your government. And in this case, on request, we can provide capacity building. Of course, in this case, the cost of this capacity building should be covered by the government who requests that. So that's the only criteria.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I don't see any other questions. I don't see. Do you see any, May?
No, I think that's all we have for now.
I'm sure if there are others, hopefully that will be okay if we contact you, if we get some other coming in.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your time today, early in Europe. Really appreciate that. And a very interesting development, and any of that policy that does come out. The digitalization piece is of extreme interest to us, and ability to track and trace a quality seed and to prevent illegal counterfeits of good quality seed is really important to the membership here. So I appreciate your time today on that piece, and great to see that we have been resilient during the COVID-19 pandemic. You're right that we have had issues, but it's been great so far that seed has finally and has been accepted as an essential agricultural service, and we'll keep fighting for that as well in the future. Thank you very much. And I think, May, it looks like I hand over to you now for an update on phytosanitary issues as well.
Thank you very much, Michael. All right, thank you very much, Michael. So as Michael has presented earlier about the activity of International Trade and Quarantine Committee. So now is our 6th year already that we have conducted phytosanitary expert consultation. So the aim of conducting this every year is because we would like to create a forum that we can bring the industry concern to the NPPO directly. So moving, like every year we have an action plan, and recently in 2020, we could not conduct a physical meeting, but still we have very good interest from NPPO in our region. So this time we could have 12 countries join in the Phyto expert consultation in a virtual platform. And this year, I would like to say that actually it's a great result from the last year in 2019 that we could really come up with a good agreement with the NPPO, how we would like to continue this forum moving forward. And we got very good outcome from NPPO in 2019 that they wish to have this forum alongside with the AWPC meeting, meaning that any concern from the industry that APSA bring into this forum, they are really keen to take a look and make sure that the information can be cascaded to AWPC. And so from 2019 also, we start to form a collaboration with APARI. So that in 2019, Dr. Ravi started to share about the mission from APARI, and also we already have a good collaboration with American Seed Trade Association, CropLife Asia, that the one who has supported APSA every year when we host the physical meeting. And of course, ISF has been very helpful, and also other national seed associations under APSA. So if you look here, this is our objectives moving forward for this forum. So every year, we still continue this momentum with our NPPO. So we agree that this forum would be a forum to form or encourage the public-private partnership. And so they can exchange idea. It's actually not really formal meeting. We make it like, more interactive and not so, like anyone can share their ideas on how we can shape the international seed movement regulation. And so the key topics still, we still continue the same, but with the progress from NPPO also, that once we have the outcome from each year, we take that forward into an action. And so NPPO will give us also an update, especially on ISPM 38. And our resource person still also continue to support, bring more topics. Like this year, we got a good support from American Seed Trade Association to share the information about their accreditation system. And so this year, we also have ISF, Dr. Rose, held to share an update on ePhyto, and we still continue inside the ITQ committee to give an update to our member. And beside that, we also still continue giving more update and progress on ISF systems approach, because moving forward, this is very important initiative, and we hope to encourage NPPO in the region to start thinking or start framing the work. So that's why we see the priority of the having lab accreditation system in the region. So you can see this summary. This is the great virtual photo group from the Phyto Expert Consultation meeting in August 2020. Okay, so though we had only, I think we had, we conducted 3 to 4 hours maximum, but we, the committee also agreed that it was really fruitful discussion during the session, and we could come with the conclusion or agreement with the NPPO. So they agreed to support ISP implementation, and so we formed very strong collaboration this year than ever with APARI, CropLife Asia, American Seed Trade Association, and ISF. So we, with a leadership, or I would say that Dr. Ravi has helped us a lot, and he helped on behalf of APARI to submit the proposal to STDF while taking all the outcome from the industry inside the, the proposal to cover the scope for public-private partnership to improve the ISPM 38 program in the region. And I will tell you more in the next slide. The next one is that the NPPO agreed that, well, actually before that in 2019, we discussed about the regional standard on Chile, but then we got an update that this would be the guidance on Chile for, the regional guidance instead of the regional standard. But still, they agree that a support from AXA, ISF, and CropLife Asia to give a view from the industry expert or experience, especially on the methodology, on the seed treatment, on the technical information to draft this guidance would be very welcome. So they will keep us updated for the first draft. We expect to have the draft by December 2020. And again, AXA will circulate inside the International Trade and Quarantine Committee for their review and comment. And of course, we will share with ISF, Phyto-Sanitary Committee, and CropLife Asia. The last one is that we show a support, continuous support from AXA side for Asia representation on the IPPC's technical expert group being set up to develop the system approach and next to ISPM 38. I think, I believe most of you have heard about the annex to ISPM 38, which would cover the system approach. And of course, I believe that ITQ can create more information about this once the draft is approved by IPPC. All right, the next one is, this is the recent collaboration that I just mentioned. And so we would like to thank our stakeholders, especially APARI, Dr. Ravi, who helped leading this initiative to submit the proposal to STDF. We have received great news that the proposal has been approved, but we still wait to get official letter to confirm this so that we can announce formal work plan with ISF together with CropLife Asia and American Seed Trade Association. So under this scope, we put the pilot countries, and we got very good support already from NPPO from these 7 countries. We are now waiting for Laos to submit the letter of support. We believe we can get their support very soon, actually. And so this is the scope. So basically, everything that we put here is just to develop the capacity building of ISPM 38. But still, this is the first milestone. We still need to plan very efficiently with our stakeholders on how we can customize the program to develop the capacity building of each country. So if you look here, the initiative that AXA committee has been initiating for many years, now we put in the action. For example, the online import condition database. So we hope to build that from the pilot countries first to be available on AXA website in collaboration with AWPC. Just to clarify, this still, the database still owned by the government. Is not APSA cannot have that information as standalone. So we will just link to the information developed by the government, and that would be under support of AWPC. We will keep our members updated for sure, because this information is so important for seed trade in the region for the private sector. And yeah, here you still see lab accreditation. We start you know, to work with the government, especially in Thailand, and we got very good support also from the Philippines to share this approach. We will keep also ITQ committee updated, because they will help us also to shape the strategy. So with that, this is overall information of the outcome of Phyto expert consultation. If you have any ideas and, you know, initiatives that you would like to bring to our ITQ committee to be considered as a topic for the next session, please feel free to write to APSA secretaries. We will share with our ITQ committee for sure. Thank you very much. And I would like to invite Michael back.
Thank you, May, for that update. Stay online in case there's some questions for you, though. she's got off video. It is important that, you know, I want to say big thanks to May and to the APSA Secretariat there as well. She's been very humble, but it was quite hard to get that that funding proposal through that particular funding body, and also to get support of the significant number of countries. So I think that's very great work, and great to see that it's been approved, and we'll work very hard on that in 2021 to try and ensure that some of that funding can be used to help seed movement, whether it is about transparency of what the requirements are, whether it's about reviewing their import conditions just where seed is a pathway, or anything like that. I think there is a question there, I think, yes, May, for you.
I think that's Dr. Ravi. Thank you very much, Dr. Ravi. Is so pleased to see you online here. So I think he helped to complement that actually besides 8 countries, we consider also more developed countries in the region to be covered in this project.
So other countries can put their hand up.
Yeah. So now we definitely go for 7 countries plus Laos, because for Laos we are waiting to get a letter of support from the government.
And I think the Phyto expert consultations that we've been doing have enabled us to really create that network, and I guess that group of NPPOs that are coming and seeing issues and concerns, and the things that we've been discussing as a group are the ones that have ended up, you know, in that funding proposal, and have the endorsement that, and I guess recognition by governments that it'd be great to be able to work on these things. They just need some resources. So fingers crossed, we'll have more progress on that in 2021. Are there any other questions for May or for the committee on that piece? I don't see any more coming in. This time I do have the chat box and the Q&A open, so hopefully I'll see if anything comes in. But if there isn't now, in any case, you can always feel free to approach May or myself or any committee members if you have any questions and ongoing issues of interest that you want to raise with us, for sure. If there aren't, then I might move on to the broader Q&A and priority session, and I might invite Marianne to take the floor and look after this session for us. Thanks, Marianne.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Michael. I think it's been an interesting meeting so far. So to our dear members, you have seen what activities that this committee has been doing for 2020. For next year, we would really like to hear from you. We would like to hear your what priority areas will the committee focus on in 2021. So for this, we will please participate in the poll that will be shown in in your screen as soon as the secretariat. Okay, so there are 7 topics here, and we would like you to choose your top three topics which you think are important to you, and then later on we will see the results. Okay, so please do it now. So workshop on clean seed production practices, increasing visibility on requirements for seed imports, tomato brown rugose fruit virus, risk mitigation for regional productions and exports, capacity building for authorization of third-party labs for phytosanitary certification purposes, trading opportunities in collaboration with NSAs on member visits, other market access issues, and seed market statistics report.
Oh, okay. Let me know if you don't see the poll pop on your screen.
I see in the chat that a number of them can't see they don't see anything on the screen.
Yeah, I see that Michael see on the screen.
Me too. I can see it from my screen, but I think the rest of the attendees can't.
It shows that attendees are now reading questions.
Actually, Xiao Feng, our team joined as attendee and she can see the poll.
Okay, I'll end the poll and start again.
Okay, so Kuna will end the poll and start again.
Okay.
It's popped
Okay.
up on my screen again.
Now do you see the screen? I see one still nothing.
So not yet. Most of the chat in the chat box says not yet.
Okay, we got someone vote, but only very few.
Okay, some could see those have voted, no, but the others they can't.
Still not yet mentioned. Okay, sorry about the technical issue. This is the first time you launched a poll with a big attendee. So let us end the poll and we will try to launch again. Sorry, sorry, Marianne.
No, it's okay.
หรือจะใช้ poll everywhere นะคะ หรือว่าคนที่จอยซูมลิงก์ไม่เห็นโอเคงั้นทำไม่ทันได้เลยใน poll everywhere
Perhaps for those who can't, oh, well, you can't see it, so you can't actually choose. I mean, I wanted to say put it in the chat box, but they can't see the choices. Okay.
All right, I think that is a technical issue because we put the Zoom under our website. So for those who join from our website may not be able to see the poll.
Gotcha.
Anyway, we still give an opportunity for all the attendees to who join in this session. So after the session is end, we will incorporate the topics in the survey form. So your feedback would be very important. All right. So perhaps we invite Marianne to just help to explain the scope of each topic so that they can help to put the priorities when we put in the survey. Sorry about that.
Okay, I'll try very briefly. So the first topic, like workshop on clean seed production practices. I think this is also in support of what we have actually already have in our website. Now we have guidelines on clean seed production practices, which is very important. Then increasing visibility on requirements for seed imports. A number of members also are requesting for this. The list of especially new requirements on importing seeds. And then one of the hot issues now is the tomato brown rugose fruit virus. So we would like, some members are also requesting risk mitigation for regional productions and exports. Next is the capacity building for authorization of third-party laboratories for phytosanitary certification purposes. You have seen the presentation from Abigail from ASTA and APHIS and Iowa on how this is done in the US, and we hope to benchmark on this best practice for also for countries in our region. Next is the trading opportunities in collaboration with the National Seed Association. So perhaps also organize member visits, to especially to countries which are still not really in the mainstream of the seed business. And then other market access issues. And then the last is the seed market statistics report, which was also mentioned earlier by Michael as one of the in the six, the buckets, as which could be also a focus area. So these are the 7 topics, and we hope you would be able to choose 3 out of this 7. And again, apologies for the technical issues, but May would give you another chance to be able to vote on the 3 topics. So thank you very much, and over to you, May. Oh, the choices are also in the chat box, so please refer to the chat box for the 7 topics.
Thank you very much, Marianne. And again, I'm so sorry for this technical issue, but we would like to hear your feedback. So as Marianne explained about each topic, now is on the screen. So basically, so after this session is done, we will put this 7 topics, and please help to select 3 of those, or actually we will put the ranking also for this. The feedback from you, it would be very important, because the ITQ committee, they will review the result from the members, and then they will select the priority to move forward in the, for the activities planning from 2021. So be part of the activities from ITQ. Thank you very much, Michael and Marie-Anne. And so I think next I would like to invite Michael back, and again he will start to wrap up the session and invite Abigail to close the session. Thank you very much.
No, I appreciate that, and thanks, Marianne, for doing all of that. It doesn't always work, even with 6 months afterwards on doing all of this. But there's always going to be technical glitches. So, but we do. I will reiterate, as a new chair here, and we would really love to hear from you to make sure that we are helping in the right areas for the seed trade in this region. So please feel free, please answer those questions, and please feel free to reach out to us at any time. If there are any other questions now, please, we have another, still another 10 minutes here. We can always wrap up early as well, but if you do have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat, in the Q&A there. But in the meantime, I might pass on for some closing comments and a wrap up to my co-chair, Abigail. Over to you again. Thank you very much.
Great. Well, thank you, Michael, and thank you everybody for attending the virtual event. And sorry we can't all be together, but I think it's very impressive that we're able to connect virtually from all over the world and all different time zones. And as Dr. May had mentioned, this is the first technical session of many that will be happening this week. So please make sure that you check out the other events. And we hope that this provided a good opportunity to learn from the speakers. Ms. Miesel and Mr. Gaspar, thank you so much. I know I learned a lot and it was a really good discussion, as well as updates on what the committee is doing from Michael and Dr. May in terms of priorities for 2020 and what's coming ahead in 2021. And really, I mean, the movement of seed across national borders is critical to all of our businesses, and APSA can play a really important role in bringing together industry and governments, as was explained in some of the work that's been done with the Phyto-Sanitary consultations, and looking forward to doing more of that work in the committee. And then we encourage you to please look on the member database. There's information and documents from this committee, and starting next year, there'll be more information shared on that platform. And in that vein, please do contact the Secretariat if you have any specific phytosanitary issues that you'd like the committee to consider and discuss further. So really, to conclude the session, thank you so much to all of our speakers and to all of you, as well as the APSA staff for all of their hard work to make this a success. And I will turn it back over to Dr. May. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Abigail and Michael Leader and all the committees of ITQ. Actually, we see that this is very important topic for APSA members, and I do believe that the committee take a close look to the concern and the update also from other regional seed associations and also International Seed Federation to give the information back to our members. With that, I would like to keep everyone remind again that if you still have questions that you would like to interact directly with RT and Alice from Access to Seed Index, please feel free to log in during the virtual networking lounge starting from 5 p.m. Bangkok time. All right, you should already receive an email from Seed World, so you just click join the event and click the tab called Virtual Networking Lounge. Then you can see that today we'll have the table of OECD, Shaba will be there, and also Access to Seed Index will be there. So please take this great opportunity to interact directly with RT and also with Shaba from OECD. I would like to again thank all the speakers today for great information, great update. I would like to start from Ms. RT from Access to Seed Index or World Benchmarking Alliance. And I would like to thank all the speakers from ASTA, though they cannot be presenting live because of the time difference, but all the information that have prepared for ASTA is really special and it's really detailed. And of course, if you have again more questions, please feel free to get back to ASTA Secretariat and we will take that to ASTA. And next, I would like to thank Shaba for sharing an update also about OECD overview and the key important update from the report that we have been working together from between APSA, ISF, and also OECD, and also World Vegetable Center as well. I would like to thank our chair, Michael Leader, Abigail, and also Marianne to help actually hosting the session, and also all the committee who actually helped to prepare the topics. With that, I would like to officially close the International Trade and Quarantine session, and we will come back with another topic in the next hour with Seed Technology Committee. Thank you very much and have a nice day.